Yeah. So I'll tell you what I'm trying to achieve, and hopefully I will. Uh, I am going to show you 3 points, or talk about 3 points, and I'm hoping these will make you think, at least not for the rest of the day, but for a long, long time. And these are what I feel should be something that feel obvious when you think about them in retrospect. So that's my aim. So let's see how it goes. Yes, it is all about AI and design, but it's my perspective, so please humor me. A little bit about myself. So I'm a mechanical engineer, a very proud one. I still think I can understand how almost everything is made and created, and it just helps me. I'm an OG when it comes to when I passed out of design, which was 97 in IDC. In between, I managed to sort of get myself an MBA. But essentially, for a long part of my career was in Tata Elxsi as their chief designer for almost 25 plus years. And last couple of years, I've shifted, and I'm now head of design in bank, right? And across, through the time, we've won some awards and all of that. Just a perspective of the kind of work that we did during my days in Elxsi, some larger ones. So I led the team that created the Bangalore Metro's design and the system, and that sort of led to many other metro systems, whether it's the Kochi Metro or the one in Nagpur, which is also what is sort of part of the Pune Metro system. So if you have traveled that, the entire design system, the signages, all of that was something that sort of came from this studio. We have my friends from Tata Motors here. So again, our teams were involved, not just in Jaguar Land Rover cars, which a lot of the HMI that you see, but a lot of Tata Motors cars. Just recently, before I moved out, we finished the entire suite of work for Maruti. So all the new Maruti cars will also again have HMIs that has been designed by my team. Right? And it was not just sort of tactical work that goes out. There was also a lot of strategy work that we started doing as the studio matured. So this was for Ashirvad Pipes, a very large, prosperous company who did not know what to do next, or they had an idea, but sort of they needed help. And our idea was to how use their core strengths. So they were great manufacturers of copper, for example, right? So how do we use, and they had great distribution in almost every corner across India. So where next to go? So we had created this entire range of brand and connected products for them. We designed it, we sort of priced them out. So it was a large and a very different project that a designer should be proud of doing, because we are now creating an entire roadmap for a company. Of course, lots of digital work. So if this was done for a Japanese television company or their satellite TV, if Sony Live, if you are using some of the entire UI systems have been created by us, some work. So again, as a studio, and what I was looking at, you're looking after a range of projects. And that allowed, I think, me and the team to think holistically and come at any problem in a slightly more mature or a slightly long-term kind of a point of view. So anyway, like I said, today I want to talk about 3 specific insights that I have when it comes to the entire aspect of design and AI, right? So first one is about expectations. I mean, it might feel a bit counterintuitive, but hopefully it will resonate, right? So these are valid expectations. These are something that people are right when they have them. You want certain things to happen, you expect certain things to happen, and you're right about it, right? And if I go deeper in terms of what I'm trying to say, let's imagine we create this simple graph. Now, as humans progress, right, across, let's say from 1960 onwards to in the future, it is obvious that you'll expect things more and more and more, right? You wanted to go early to, earlier you were walking, then you had a bullock cart, now you have this bullet trains, right? You want things to go faster. And the technology has very closely sort of matched our expectations. We wanted something to happen, the technology, the environment around us allowed that to happen. So there was a synchronous behavior between what people wanted, what people expected, and what technology could deliver. But now if you look at this graph carefully, there are these two inflection points. Right? Now, let's say one inflection point is somewhere around 1990s. Right? Before that, what technology could do was much more than what, let's say, people expected. So let's take this example of this toaster. 95% of the people who were using the toaster, to whom this toaster was sold, did not know what those 3 buttons stood for. Right? They were very happy to twist the knob, get their toast. They were very happy. The product did more than what people expected. Some of us, if you remember, we used to use these thick manuals for our softwares. I used to use Alias, and there used to be these thick manuals. And we would discover, I know something more today what my software can do, and hence I'm a better user. So it was always, even now, for example, certain tricks that an Excel sheet has that we don't know. So there are aspects about technology that were ahead of what people expected, and it was a happy scenario. People like us who were designing products, we were always aware and ahead of what people expected, so we had an easy battle to win. Today, it's a terrible situation. I mean, I'm a relatively ahead of the curve kind of a guy. So when the first time Alexa was announced, I sort of bought one at home, and I was trying out something. My wife naturally asked Alexa a very normal question. Alexa could not answer. She immediately said, "Isko kuch aata hi nahi hai." And after that, it has been lying dust. So because it was advertised as it could do so many things, it ended up creating expectations that were far ahead of what the product could deliver, and the brand suffered, the product suffered, because it could not really match. I'll give another example, and sort of I'll tell you what I mean by how design can intervene and help. Take Siri, for example, right? I mean, we tend to look up to Apple, but I feel they have made some very bad design decisions or design mistakes. And here's one. About 3-4 years ago, they announced very proudly that now Siri will have a more human-like voice, right? And if any one of you all have seen the movie Her, so you have Scarlett Johansson's voice like a computer. Now, if you have a device talking with her kind of voice, you would expect her kind of intelligence also. You would expect it to understand your nuances, your sort of quirks, and half the time Siri would suffer. They would not understand, right? So which means you are unnecessarily shooting yourself in the foot, trying to brand yourself as a smart company or an AI-driven company, and it is actually hurting you. Instead, I mean, my advice to Apple, if I may, at that time, now maybe not. Now they've reached a better level of what AI can do. Imagine the Siri's voice was robotic. It was very mechanical. Don't you all think that all of us would have talked more slowly, talked more precisely, would have clearly told Siri, this is what I want? Then Siri would have succeeded. Then it would have been a much better relationship. And that's what I mean, where you tend to create these unnecessary expectations and it backfires. And it is continuing. If you look at ChatGPT, now this, what you call conference itself, is a relatively smaller or a very sort of focused set of people to a much larger kind of an universe out there. Now, how many of us have used ChatGPT when it first came? A lot of hands will go up, right? How many of us still use ChatGPT? Some hands will go up. How many of us have actually started using ChatGPT effectively in our work? Even lesser hands will go up, right? So, but if you think about the kind of promises it had, it was much, much higher. So our chances of expecting more and disappointing faster are higher. And it is an unfortunate way in which I think companies come across. I mean, recently, so we use a lot of Figma. I have some of my design team here, and we always want to use the latest tool. And Figma recently announced Figma AI, and there was this event that called us, and we had all gone. And I was, Figma AI, so if I give an intention that I want to create a journey where a payment would happen or a bill payment would happen, I would sort of show my design system. I'll create a certain key words, and I expect Figma AI to do all the screens. But no, What currently it can do is only check your text and give you a simpler text. So, yes, it is useful, we will use it, our content team will use it, but why promise so high so soon, right? You have to help people grow along with you, which is where I'm actually talking about what is the role of designers today when it comes to this kind of scenarios. And I'll give you a couple of examples. So I feel that the role of UX designers is to manage all these runaway expectations. How do I create interfaces so that people will know what is possible, what is not possible, right? And when you are in the flow, when a person is actually using a product, if they know कि ये नहीं होगा, so they will then not get disappointed. And the UX designer can definitely think about these things, right? And it's time to teach empathy in humans about, not other humans, everybody talks about it, but about products, about environments. We talked about sustainability. So how do we create that wonder towards technology, right? What has happened, the technology has come across as so complicated that most people have sort of assumed it's a black box. And I don't think that is correct. I don't think the time has come yet where we can completely not understand what happens, right? And again, it will be the designer's way of communicating how technology works that will make it work. If you think about designer's traditional role, it has always been the bridge between what the technology can do and what people want, and how do we sort of make both of them meet. That has always been our role. So I think it is now even more important. So I'll give you a couple of examples where I think we had done something, let's say in my earlier company, and maybe now we are doing. So this is a very funny but good case study. So I will not name the company, that's why it is a simple box. But it was a microwave, and they wanted to, we are the first smart microwave. So what is smart microwave? That you can talk to it. You can give it instructions, 30 seconds T, and it will do that. Now, it did all this fanfare, it went ahead and sort of announced, but it bombed. It very bad customer feedback. Why? Because you don't know where to talk. Half the time it will not understand. There's no, where is its ears? Right? There is no semantics in the product. There is no feedback. You just announce, you brought it, And so they understood, they agreed that we have to develop our software better, we have to develop the product design better, but we have some inventory of 1 million units. They have to survive. Please do something. So we did a simple sort of a branding exercise to at least help them tide the initial issues. We said, let's brand it like a person. Let's say it's my Murphy, right? And then a strange thing happened. Not everyone, but at least 50% difference in how people behaved. Suddenly they started sort of defending. It's my little Murphy. You started personifying the person. They think, he's just 1 month old. उसको थोड़ा time लगता है. वो सीखेगा. उसे वो कान में बोलना पड़ता है. So the person owning suddenly started defending its shortcomings, because now suddenly you created a relationship with the product. Right? So branding can allow you to sort of have that, and then that will protect the technology, allow it to grow, allow it to be mature, allow us to change our behavior so that we can work with the technology. Right? So that's why in that early stage of our process. Coming to, let's say, part of our world, right? When we talk about, so we have, HDFC Bank has something called as EVA, which is a smart chatbot. We still don't call it smart, it's a chatbot, right? But we are pushing very hard. We are calling it EVA 2.0, and even there I have some problems. But this would be a disaster, no? If I say, ask me anything. वो तो कुछ भी पूछ लेगा. So, what do I do? How do I control any of that, right? So, what we are trying to do, at least, so we have a fairly sophisticated chatbot on WhatsApp, for example. So, it's very clear. We specifically say upfront what you can do. So, you can open an FD, you can do this. So, it becomes a directed sort of chat. It allows people not to be disappointed. We are not going around claiming that we have the highest or best AI, though we have a lot of work that we're doing in AI. And it sort of protects our brand, allows us to. So that's what's my one big take on my first point. So first point is about now, which is happening. Second is about something that should happen or will happen. Third is slightly in the future, but considering that the AI grows exponentially, all of these could happen simultaneously, so I can't really predict. But let's look at point number 2. Now, this is about choice, right? And I'll try and sort of explain how the entire app ecosystem and how the thinking sort of went and how we are stuck, right? So this is a paradox of choice. So now, if you look at our needs, like our expectations, our needs are also going up. I want to book a flight, I want to book a hotel, I want to review, I want to order food, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to buy clothes, I want to chat someone, I want to call. So there's so many of these needs that we have, right? And 5 years ago, 10 years ago, the solution was that I will give you choice. You want to book a flight? It's the same flight going to the same location, but I'll give you 10 apps. You can use any of the app to book the same ticket. No choice, everybody's happy. And in that choice, I'm going to give you control. So when you open the app, you can fix this, you can control this, you can feel in charge. So new digital platforms, so much of choice, so much of control. People were happy initially. But now, as you can imagine, and you can again look at our own behavior, as the needs have gone up, our experience has actually gone down. We don't think just give me one bank app, give me one travel app, give me one this thing, I'll do all my work. Don't give me all these options, right? Make it simple. So this is where the world is going. And this is where, this is something that we had also proposed in some of our earlier work with another company, that essentially the OS will be the AI interface, right? And it will understand us. It will surface some of the earlier underlying apps. And all I have to tell, please book a flight here. It will go to Uber, or it will sort of pick up the correct services, and then it will give me a simple experience. The new AI chip that is coming on Apple, some of it is they're trying that. The reason why it will not happen is, what I'm going to tell you, is, essentially the structure is like this, right? You have the OS, you have the various apps, applications, whatever you call it, and essentially they house the relationships, right? Uber has its relationships with their customers, it has relationship with all the taxi guys, it has the environment where you can, all of that. So you open Uber, then you order, that's how the entire relationship works. What Apple and Google would like you to have is like this. They want Uber to expose their services and their APIs to the OS, so that when Apple or Uber says, Apple or Google says that, okay, book a taxi, it will know my favorite is Uber, it will know my location is this, and it will do everything on the back end. This is what would be the best experience. Currently, there's a big fight going on. I am not going to give my customers to Ola or Uber. To iOS. In fact, with Tata Motors, when I was there a long time back, the entire discussion was that how we should avoid car companies from becoming a sort of an ODM where they're just manufacturing these dabbas and the entire relationship is taken over by the software guys who are sitting on top of that, right? So everywhere this fight is happening. So though this is inevitable, we don't know how to land, but this is the next level of a better experience with AI that will happen. The third point is about age. I'm talking about the future, but let's see whether it's going to be the future or not, right? And if I ask this question, what products increase in value as they age? Purana to sab kuch hota hai, but with old, right? I'll answer some of the questions. You have wine, you have leather, you have real estate, you have stocks. Ye chhod ke, do you all know anything else? Hey, this thing went on its own here. I couldn't ask the question. Sorry. Anyway, so you saw at least my answer to it. Right? So, relationships. Yeah, your relationship with your spouse, with your friends, with your brother, with people that you respect or know. So, that grows with time. That has a value of time with that relationship, right? And you can also translate it to products. I have this Skoda Yeti, which is like, usko band hoke bhi 6 saal ho gaye, but my car is 12 years old and I don't think I'll give it up because I love my car. But ye jo hai na, where I might love my phone, I might love my car, I love my chair, whatever. But it's not what I'm talking about, because this is very one-sided. You don't know whether the car loves you back. I mean, there's no relationship, right? It's like you have your sentiments pushed onto that product that is there because it has some other things. It is not where the new age is going to go, right? What's going to happen is essentially, when I create a digital product or a phygital product, the relationship it creates with you is going to be the new product offering, right? Things will increase in value with time. So, I mean, this is a very classic or simple example. I might be rich enough to buy a new Rolex, but my grandfather, if he was rich enough and to have one, I would have liked that and I would have valued that much more, obviously, because it's something that has so much sentiments attached to it. But if you ignore this portion of it, if you just, again, let's look at our ChatGPT. Now, it will happen, but even now, let's say, and you would have seen that if you start a conversation, and if you keep the conversation going for, let's say, a week or a month, right? And then if you, and it's about some same topic, let's say it is about how to hold this conference, and you are discussing that within ChatGPT for last 1 week. Then you ask a very specific question. The value of the answer that will come will be much better than if you open a completely new chat window and ask the same question again. Okay? So the earlier interactions that have happened have improved the value of what is happening now. So there is a history, there is a relationship, there is some kind of a, which we expect to happen in products. I mean, I have zindagi nikal diya na Microsoft pe. I mean, all of us have used, let's say, PowerPoint or Excel. There's no value that Excel comes back to me because of my association with them. Apart from knowing certain shortcuts, there is nothing that has really come to me. Right? But we expect going forward that my Excel or my product will be different and it will learn. In, again, automotive, we talk so many things about my driving habits, my driving routes will be something that the car will learn and my car will become my car. Right? And then I will feel much more, and then car ka soul I can sort of transfer to a new model when it comes, so when that happens, right? So, point is, we would like to do similar things with a bank. We are working a lot on AI with this. Of course, I will not immediately show anything. What I'll end up doing instead, just one last point, which I hope you all agree, that time actually creates these elements that allow relationships to happen. And if you're able to quantify, capture, learn, and use these, it will allow the product to succeed. So the future billionaires or unicorns or trillion-dollar companies would come that would have mastered this element of it. I'll just end up with a small 1-minute film on the product that we're going to launch soon, which is a completely revamped user experience on our mobile banking app, which we had applied over here. So I'll just, 1-minute video, just have a look. Oh, before that, sorry. But it's a very obvious thing that it's our duty as designers to make it simple for our people to navigate this world around us. And that's what we should do. By the way, this is the first time that we are showing our new work in public. So this is the first time it has been shown. So thank you. Okay. Happy to connect. Would love to know all. Thank you very much.